did the photo of the clock tower.
Yeah, it does the same thing over there.
At one point, I bought the house in Chatham. She said you should have.
So just say I'm not.
Well, they're like toys.
Other than that day.
But it was done, it was still there, so.
Resolution 1.
What's your name? What are you doing?
Okay.
Was it when that was printed?
With the cross out?
I'm not paying for it.
You had one with a cross out?
I do, it works.
What's your phone?
I thought the one you had was one that I did cross out your name.
So you got it on tape?
Must have gotten it off the table. Okay.
So all the copies have it crossed out.
It's a good team effort.
Accepted as amended. It works, no biggie.
Uh-oh, it's a big one. Big phone test.
Until we see these two guys panic, then we're all set.
You see me panic, you better run.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. We'll start with a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you for all for attending tonight. The first order of business is our first public comment period, so if there's anybody who'd like to address the board.
Yeah, my name is Benigna Hila. I live on Spring Street, which is also 295. And I wonder if there is something that could be done with the speed limit. The cars are going, or the trucks are going really much more over the speed limit. There's actually no speed limit sign. Once you pass the railroad tracks, people, I think people who are driving think this is the end of the village. And they speed up, going up the hill. There is a speed limit sign on the other side when you come from East Chatham. It says 30 miles an hour. There are several ones that says Village of Chatham, 30 miles an hour, and so on. And I think it's much more respected from that part, but not from this part. I personally was hit actually while I was biking in 2019 and had a hip fracture. I had a pelvis fracture and was hospitalized for quite some time during the pandemic. And have not been cycling anymore since then. It's very, very difficult, even though there are zebra stripes that you can cross the road. Even that is not really being respected, so it's even difficult to cross the road. I live right on top of the hill, which is about like 100 yards up from the railroad crossing. So that's my wish, if there could be something done, or also if the speed limit could even be changed to 20 instead of 30.
The speed limit would be under the auspices of the state DOT. Regarding the speed limit signs, because we have heard some concerns up there, there are in fact from Austell Street up your way 2. And one was covered by the trees a few months ago. We contacted the DOT, they came that day and trimmed the trees so that you can see those. That sign's right about in front of where George Grant lives. If you're familiar with George, he's got the little garage at the base of the hill. So there are 2 30-mile-an-hour signs in that direction.
There was a sign which is now, it says pedestrians are crossing. There used to be a speed limit sign too.
Yeah, there's speed limit signs there, because I went up, took pictures and contacted the DOT personally, and they came out. So take a look. I'll refer to the chief of police. We do enforcement, Chief Alessi. I think Spring Street and Center Street are some of our biggest challenges for speed. To reduce the speed limit is quite involved. There has to be engineering studies done, not that it can't be done, but the fact that that's a DOT right-of-way, we really, other than we can send our wishes, but that would be up to them. If you got anything to add to that?
No, that's really what it comes down to is DOT. We sit in spots here and there. Going out of the village is kind of tough at the bottom there. There's not a whole lot of spots for us to sit. But, we do enforce that, and, the speed sign is, I think, next week is gonna be back on Spring Street. So we'll face it the other direction this time.
We have a portable sign which we can target areas with, and it does help until we move it. And then the speeds tend to go back up again. We recognize that.
Okay.
But we'll take, where was your accident? Where?
The accident?
Yeah.
It was about maybe 50 yards. It was so it's flat before you go up the hill.
Yeah.
And I was actually dragged.
Oh.
So somebody hit me from the back and dragged me towards the hill.
Well, we'll take an extra effort to look at it. You look well.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you coming here. We're always open for discussion. Not everybody leaves here happy. We recognize that.
I mean, it's something that, I can also hear the trucks really speeding up. And I was also, kind of tailgated, and people would give me the finger because I would go slow, and they would just, even pass me, even though you can't pass.
What happens now is with some of the technology with these trucks, and it's kind of intimidating. They use an exhaust brake, and someone call it a Jake brake. You'll hear it more at night, but coming down the hill, it's a retarder, it's a brake, and it sounds like a jet coming, when in fact it's slowing them down. It's kind of hard to, it's a hard
But
concept.
this is also going the other way.
So we'll take a look at it.
Yeah,
Take a look.
okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to support that. I ride a bike a lot in town, and it's scary riding a bicycle in this town.
No, we know.
And even if some white lines could be painted on the road, showing people,
Don't pass. Yeah.
just like encouraging people to stay out of the way of a bicycle.
Yeah, that's a tough thing, and I'll tell you why, is we are, and it's later in the agenda, but I can talk about it now, working with the Harlem Valley Rail Trail, which is going to be coming to fruition next spring here in the village. Part of their trail is going to be sharing the highways, because they don't have enough real estate to build a separate. So there'll be additional signage from like the firehouse up to Boston Street, which may help some of this. They don't have enough room to put an actual lane in, but the additional signage to bring attention to the motoring public that we have bicycles here using the roads. So that may be something that will help. But
And soon you'll have a big museum here,
Yeah,
and
well,
there's
sure.
going to be a ton more traffic in this
understood.
town.
Yeah, understood.
And all of these small towns in Massachusetts, they have 25 or 20 mile an hour speed limit. West Stockbridge and Intermont.
I do, I know.
I think,
But Barry,
it seems like that's what should be done, at least on this stretch of 295 and 66 here.
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous to try and ride a bike on there.
All right, we'll take a look. Thank you.
So, is this something that, we as citizens can't really petition this, can we? Or-
You can, that's fine. We can, what we've done in the past is, if we get a petition, a group of names, for whatever reason, if there's some way we can push it to a different department, have them take a look at it, maybe in the DOT, we can do that. And I'll tell you right now, I can have the chief reach out to the DOT again. They do an accident history. A lot of what's based on reducing the speed limits has to do is how dangerous it is. To you, it's very dangerous.
Yes.
To somebody sitting in Poughkeepsie, that are reading numbers, they're gonna say, well, that's not that bad. I'm not saying that's the case, but that's kind of how.
I mean, in numbers of accidents.
Right, and it's crazy, you know, that's the reality, is
One
that
bad accident.
they look at,
Okay.
well, no, and that's what they look at, unfortunately, and, but we can send them a letter and ask them if they take a look at it, the potential to reduce the speed limit. That's an easy thing for us to do, but to have them do it,
Yeah,
that's the challenge. The city of Hudson just reduced some of their speed limits in the city because they're city-owned streets.
Yeah.
We could reduce our speed limits on Woodbridge Avenue, we could reduce them on Kennewick Street because they're not state.
you can't go fast on those streets anyway. It's impossible.
So the point being is, if we could do it, you know, we could do it. Sorry. So we'll take a look at it.
Okay, well, thanks.
Sure, thank you.
Okay,
Can I just come,
I'm sorry.
I think I missed your name
Benigna Schiller, Chilla,
and your friend,
I'm.
David,
Oh,
David Lee,
David.
Lee, L-E-E.
Thank you.
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your effort, and, you know, we'll take a look.
Well,
And
yeah.
we may be
That's
back-
where it starts.
We may be back rumbling.
And you should, and you should. I mean, that's what, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was also a little deer that was killed, you know, recently, right in front of my driveway. So it's not just that they're looking for
Yeah, no, it happens.
human beings, it's
Yeah.
like anything that moves. Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, we'll start with the department reports. Erin had to pick her daughter up. Somebody have Erin's report? I'll say it, go ahead.
12 building zoning permits were issued, 3 new complaints initiated, and 2 of them resolved, 1 being remedied, 0 CO searches, 1 certificate of occupancy issued, and 11 certificate of compliance issued. COs are issued for places of occupancy and CCs for building and/or zoning compliance verifications. 5 permit construction inspections completed, 4 complaint inspections completed, $1,819 payment received for building permits, planning and zoning board applications, and her reports are attached.
Okay, we'll move on to the police department. Joe?
All right, couple items in my report I'm gonna skip over until we get to resolutions. Town of Chatham Police Services is going well. We continue to get positive feedback there. We installed the new LPR camera that we purchased last month. It came in. It is actually on the street light outside the brewery right now. So if you want to take a look at it, you can. You know, when you see it, you'll notice it. You'll be like, oh, there's the camera. Catches license plates, traveling both directions. That information is shared with the state crime center. So as part of the grant, that's a requirement. So if there's anything going on, you know, they can track. They were excited. We are the first in this area to have a LPR camera on a pole. Columbia County is kind of a black hole when it comes to traffic. When they get off the I-90, they don't know where cars go after that. So this kind of gives them a little bit of insight when they're trying to track somebody, you know, that has some type of issue. You know, we had a stolen vehicle that ended up in the village once. You know, this would help with that kind of thing. So the building cameras, half of the order came in, part of the order came in. We're hoping the rest of the order will be in by next week. Just working through some credit card challenges, but I think we had that resolved, or we'll have that resolved in the next couple of days. New patrol car, kind of waiting on Dodge to enable some fleet pricing for the 2024-2025. We have everything else priced out with the 3 quotes we require. So once I get the car stuff, we'll be ready to move forward on that. School started, no major issues. Same challenges we always have with the school, parents dropping kids off on the wrong side of the road, crossing in front of traffic, parents doing U-turns, getting to work because they're late for work, that kind of thing. So we continue to work with the sheriff's office to address that as it comes up. We have firearms training coming up this weekend for our yearly recertification. October Feast was last weekend or the weekend before. No issues, was a good event. I actually have 4 awards. First one, Outstanding Service for Officer Coolidge and Officer Rose. There's a write-up in my report, but to summarize, they went above and beyond while on duty during the fair to assist with the increased traffic as it started to back up onto Hudson Ave. The second award for Sergeant Favorito and Officer Dorian Ryman, is for their actions during a medical emergency that was coming out of the fair. So we had an adult that had wasn't breathing when they pulled up to our officers. Those 2 officers kind of took the lead. Officer Ryman assisted the victim out of the car. The victim weighed over 400 pounds. He pulled that guy out of the car single-handedly. And then Sergeant Favorito provided care until EMS arrived. So I'd like to recognize both of them. The information that's in my report will be put in a letter and is dropped in their personnel file. Thank you. And attached to your report, you have my numbers, you have the town report as well. The only other thing that I want to bring up is that we are participating in Trunk or Treat. That is next weekend, the 25th, I believe. And then we are also have Drug Take Back Day, which is that Saturday, the 26th. Both of them will work with Desiree and Sam to get the Drug Take Back Day posted on the village website and stuff. Thank you.
Just a couple comments. One on the building cameras, I know, a few years ago, there was some consternation about surveilling people, this, that, and the other. It's becoming more and more apparent, glaringly so, that these are much needed. We had a situation a couple of weeks ago on a Friday. I just happened to come in at noontime for whatever reason. I come through here probably more than I should. And Aaron's here by herself. PD had an officer on. Joe happened to be here that day. I came in and she said that she had a customer coming to get a building permit that seemed to be a bit aggrieved of the process. She explained to me the situation. I called Joe, and Joe called Officer Blue. This individual came to the window and was off the charts. Just, he wasn't being treated properly. He had to wait to get the permit. He wasn't going to pay for it. This is BS. Officer Blue showed up, and this guy really got amped up. He said, "I'm going to start taping all of you," which is fine. I gave him my best smile and gave him the good side of my face. And he continued on, and he was going to sue us, and he wasn't going to pay for the permit. The point being is we had no cameras to video any of this until Officer Blue got there. His body cam video, of course, was part of that. It all de-escalated. He went out of here as a happy camper. He'll hopefully be not seen again. But the point I want to make is these cameras, I think, are important. Some people that travel in those circles, when they see a camera, they act a whole lot different than when they don't know there's cameras. But I think it's a good move. Second, I just want to commend Joe and the administration and the police department for acknowledging their members. I think it goes a long way towards employee supervisors, relationships, to acknowledge your subordinates. And I do recognize that because I was on the fairgrounds, and as a matter of fact, the call came over, we all have radios, EMS, fire, state police, sheriff's department, Chatham PD, that we had a situation of cardiac arrest on the Midway. I actually drove by the car because they were loading a guy into the car. As I drive by, because I'm not looking for a guy in the car, we're all looking around on the grounds. They drove off the grounds and they ran into two of our officers who ultimately saved his life. So it's not, it's good stuff. Thank you for that. Fire department, yeah, sure.
Going back to Erin, with the building permit and everything, is she gonna have an issue when she goes to do her inspections? Is she gonna need someone to go with her?
When we have a situation that looks that way, we do send her with a police officer. We have done that.
Okay.
You never know in this world what
Yeah.
you're gonna, but we do have some frequent fires, and
Yeah.
we're aware of that. So, yeah, and she's very good about not putting herself in a position.
Excellent.
Just, you think a building like this, the people are in and out of here, but it's the world we live in.
Yeah, it is.
Chief Rideout, before you start, he sent his report in, about 3 weeks ago, thinking me was weird. So he's way ahead of everybody. He's way ahead of everybody. So go ahead, Paul.
Pretty quiet month for us. We had 6 alarms, 5 alarm activations, 1 auto accident, mileage of all our vehicles. 2 drills for the month. The first was hose line deployment, and the second was water supply and tanker shuttle. We're going to do 2 more drills for this year outside, then we'll shift our drills to inside the station and other things like that for the winter months. We're starting to get all of our annual physicals done. 9 are done, and I have 12 signed up for the 23rd of this month, so we're starting to pick them off. I was at a coordinator's retirement meeting last night, and I thought George slipped up, but I asked him afterwards, and he said no, but these first 2 rounds of physicals, we're not gonna get billed for. So them 7 and these 12, he says since the company's trying to figure out their past, that the county's gonna foot the bill. So I'm glad we got that many in there. The trucks will be going up to my shop. I was supposed to start last week, but I've been working in New York City and south of there for the last 2 weeks, so nothing has gotten there, but we're going to finish our PMs before December, which is our normal times anyway. We're going to be doing Halloween festivities. We're also going to be doing trunk or treat, and we'll close our normal area on Kimberhook Street like they normally do. Companies did $1,200 worth of candy they bought, so there's a huge amount of candy they gave away this year instead of the same $1,200 we did last year, but they bought huge candy bars, and we just did it by bags this year, so it's like a shopping cart and a half full of candy. 19 members went to Old Forge in the beginning of the month and participated in fire schools and training on new equipment and electric cars. All the new iPads, we finally have them all. They've all been programmed. I'm using mine a little bit in the car. Eric has his. We haven't put them in any trucks yet because the mounting equipment for them hasn't come. And I'm just afraid somebody's going to be flying it out the window or have it on their lap and forget about it. So we haven't put them in any trucks yet, but they're to help us map things. We can look up hydrants on them. We can do it on our cell phones now, but it's just so much harder on your phone. The 911 center is putting a new CAD system in that's going to have a lot of features that we can do on these new iPads once they're up and running. They'll be able to actually track our vehicles going down the road and say, oh, wait a minute, you should turn there, or things like that. Ancrum used it, part of it today. They were looking for a place to land a helicopter, and the 911 dispatcher actually gave their coordinates of an old dirt bike racetrack that was down there, like 1/8 of a mile away from where the accident was. So they're trying it already, but we're getting our iPads together, so we'll be ahead of the game. I guess that's about it. Yeah, it was just all about the iPads, the last part of it.
Thank you. Any questions for Paul? Okay, hearing none, I don't think we have a report from Phil. It's been crazy summer. I think he's had a chance this week to take a deep breath. Jason's been on his honeymoon, a real honeymoon. And they started leaf pickup today, so we have our 3 laborers doing leaf pickup, Corey and Phil. Of course, Phil was here, the ladies' room toilet sprung a leak over the weekend and water was running everywhere, so Phil came in and graciously repaired that. He didn't realize how much of a job it was. He had to get in, the floor here is a foot thick concrete, and it was broken between the floor. So he spent a good amount of time here today, just cheerily on his knees in the ladies' room behind the toilet. So we didn't poke him too much today. It was kind of leave him alone. So I wasn't going to say, "Where's your report?" He would have left, and we'd still going outside to the bathroom.
I
So,
tried, he just left.
yeah.
And then he had to fix the men's room toilet.
Yeah, that went on Fritz at the same time. We had toilet issues. So there are a couple things. And Ralph, we get a chance, maybe we'll sit down. The sewer plant project, the UV project's taking a little longer because of supply chain issues. Phil's been talking to Labella. The general contractor is kind of like, there's been a few things that Phil's got a question on, so he reached out to Labella and said, look, get somebody down here. We want to clarify some of these issues. One was a concrete pad, one was the dimensions on the building, which from my understanding has been resolved, but I want to keep you in the loop. The project's moving on, it's just taking a little longer. That's not to be, it's just the world we live in, it's not a big project. The water main project's done. They may not go back to spring to pull the old hydrants out, they've covered them up. Everything's in the ground, all the service lines are done. It's just they're getting up against the winter weather before they take, I think there's 3 hydrants they got to take out. But that project's done, so that Hudson Avenue 3 or 4 phase project is done. It's a huge, huge deal. I talked to Senator Hinchy a little while ago at a reception, and because I can't go to something like that, I would ask you for something. I said that we're working on a redundant water supply, and it would really be nice if we can get some help. So she's, like all good politicians, she says, we'll do what we can for you. She's really big on water, rural water and stuff, so plant that seed, we'll see where that goes. I asked Phil to throw together some numbers on sewer relining for next spring. There's a possibility we can do the same thing through our unallocated fund balance in sewer, roll some of that money into sewer relining to reduce our infiltration of water, which will keep DEC happy. So he's going to put together some numbers, and we'll have a discussion here, so we can keep our infrastructure in good shape. So their new truck's in order, it's ready for winter, they're using it. The old truck is been, if it hasn't been, it's going to be put on auction international, it's an online auction. And before they sell it, we have to approve whatever the price is. They expect it to be rather robust, if you will, the sale price on that used truck. So stay tuned on that. I think that's all I can think of for the top of the head. I need a motion to approve the minutes for September 9th. Can I get a motion? Motion. In a second.
Second.
All in favor? Need a motion to approve the September 2024 budget to actuals. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
In a second.
Second.
Okay. Resolution 154 to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the Metswood Nimer 2024-2025 commercial liability insurance renewal for the period November 11th, 24 to November 10th, 25, in the amount of $72,056 plus 3981.25 for a total of $76,037.25. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
I want to commend Trish before we vote on it. When we put the budget together, because this comes due in November, we put our budget together for June. We throw darts at the wall to figure out what's going to be the increase on insurance. There was an increase. Trish had it pegged at about $80,000. And we come in at 76. That is as close as you can get. And it did go up, and we were a little nervous. We met with Vet, all of us here in the office, to do the renewal, and she was looking at a 9%, was it 9% on the buildings increase or something? And, you know, she didn't have definitive numbers at that time, but when I started talking 9%, I was like, oh, geez. Worked out, so that's where we're at. All in favor? Resolution 155, I authorized Chatham High School Athletics Booster Club to host a 5K race fundraiser in the village on May 4th, 2025. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
The second. There will be more details to follow at a later date, time and stuff like that. But they just wanted to pencil that in. All in favor? Resolution 156 to authorize the village clerk to transmit to the county board of elections a certificate setting forth each village office to be filled. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
That has been done, so I understand, or if they're aware of that, we have to advertise that, what now, next week or something like that.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
so can, all in favor? Resolution 157 to establish Trace Memorial as a polling place for the village elections on March 18, 2025, from noon to 9 p.m. Motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor? 158 to authorize the village clerk to publish a notice designating the village offices to be filled in terms thereof. Can I get a motion? And a second. So that would be Ralph, Pete, and myself, two trustees and the mayor's position. Resolution 159 to authorize the treasurer to issue a refund in the amount of $2.16 to Aaron Grace for overpayment of water storage at 138 West Nine, a parcel which is no longer owned by Aaron Grace.
Motion.
And a second.
Try to get out of it, Bob said, anything financial. I said, but it's $2.16.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, before I go to the next one, we had a person show up, very aggrieved that the second time we got a bill for what, 9 cents? Was it a bill for 9 cents?
A bill for 9 cents.
You know, it came in here, it was, well, it's kind of a software type thing, but we'll correct that.
That's for me.
Technology. Resolution 160 to authorize the film company to use the Tracy Hall for a screenwriting panel workshop on the 26th and the 27th, pending completed submission of use of facilities application liability insurance for payment for use of facility. Motion?
Motion.
A second.
Second.
Have you received any of that, Des?
I received the insurance certificate and the application. She said the check has been like in process.
All in favor?
Aye.
161 to approve Morris Memorial to host the 48th annual Ray Barduny Turkey Trot on Thanksgiving. They close Park Road from 8:30 to 11:30 to use the village streets. Kendrick Street, Shore Road, Eaton Avenue, Woodbridge Avenue, School Road. To approve the CPD assistance at different intersections to ensure safety for all participants and onlookers. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
162 to approve an increased pay rate of $19 per crossing detail for the school guard, crossing guards effective 10/21/24. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Well, how much is it now, Joe?
17.
17. We're going to be bringing, it's up to us, bringing on a couple people as crossing guards. And we felt at the time that maybe it'd be worth raising it up a little bit because we can't get crossing guards, and we'll explain that. All in favor? Resolution 163 to hire Maura Logman Bull as a school crossing guard at a pay rate of $19 per crossing, effective 10/21/24. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
In a second.
Second.
Did the other lady retire?
You know what I want to do is I want to go to an executive session right now, okay? Just briefly. So
You want a motion?
I need a motion to go to executive session.
Motion.
Second.
We'll shut the camera off. Joe, stay. Paul, thank you. You can hang on there, come back if you want.